I hope you can see me through all this clutter. Every single piece on this table will be used today for the ultimate super test. Today I will be testing the Susvara, and I will be comparing it to the Aria Stealth. The Susvara is HiFiMan's flagship planar magnetic. They do go more expensive than this when it comes to electrostats, with the Shangri-La Senior at $50,000. But this particular planar magnetic headphone is their flagship planar, and this is their most popular range, is the planars, and what they're famous for. This particular product sells for £5,099. In my opinion, it's worth every penny if you can afford it. The Aria Stealth is a superb planar magnetic, and it's just off of the AT1000 range, and this one retails for £1,299, which puts it firmly in the category of the HD800 type of world-class headphone. Planar magnetics have a very different sound to dynamics, but most of the top headphones in the world are open bags. That gives you a clear, transparent, airy sound, and the planar magnetics still produce a crisp, deep bass. What we're going to do today is we're going to see how the Aria Stealth measures up to the Susvara. The Susvara being revered as the king of the planars. The demonstration will be a recording of a DSD file, and it will be using the Lampesator DAC 4 as the source. That will then be plugged into the Nova Fidelity Streamer amp. That will then be connected to a balanced headphone cable that will go directly into the speaker taps, and we will then record it using an Olympus LC11 PCM recorder and some Roland CS10 binaural in-ear mics. This will be headphones only. You can listen to the voice all you like through the smartphone, and I will sound absolutely rich and fine. But as soon as I put the headphones on and record the results of that, because I'm using HRTF technology, which uses the head as part of the recording process, the only way you'll get anything that doesn't sound strange is to use headphones or earphones, and then you'll get a really good idea as to what it's like to put on a set of Susvaras and a set of Arias. I'm not going to tell you which one is which. I'm simply going to do the recording, and then I will tell you after you've had a listen. So there will be a spoiler alert about 15 seconds after the two tracks have finished. I will be recording Red Rain, a DSD which has been taken from an SACD album by Peter Gabriel. The first 90 seconds or so I shall repeat track 1 and track 2. You won't know which is the Susvara and which is the Aria, but I'm hoping that almost instantly you'll get an idea as to which one is which.
Red
Well folks, after an exhausting but very enjoyable day's listening, I can give you the results of the track that I recorded, which was a DSD file of Red Rain from the album So by Peter Gabriel, and it was a DSD file, and it was played on the Lampezzata DAC 4 and the Nova Fidelity X35 streamer, which is a 40 watts amplifier. The first track was the Aria Stealth, the second track therefore the Susvara. What did you think? Let me tell you one thing. The method that I used, I had to change. The Susvara, I used the balanced cable, but the Aria did not have the power requirements of that balanced cable, and in fact it had a lot of hiss on the cable and did not sound as good as through the headphone output at the front of the amp. So there was an impedance mismatch through the balanced cable. Although the sound had lots of clarity and lots of punch and whatnot through the balanced cable, there was a noticeable hiss. So for the purposes of the recording and for the purposes of doing the evaluation, I went on to the more traditional method. Did you prefer the Aria or did you prefer the Susvara? Let me put these down because they're quite heavy and give you my opinion on it. The Susvara had no hiss at all through the balanced cables, so it was okay to go on the recording. So the recording was different in the end, because obviously you're going to want the best I can give you in terms of the recording quality. So the best recording quality I gave you for the Susvara was through the balanced cable, and I had to revert to the more traditional full-size jack for the best recording for the Aria Stealth. The Aria Stealth was a lovely sound quality, but in my opinion it is not in the same league as the Susvara. The Susvara is leaps and bounds above the Aria Stealth, and I'll explain that to you in more detail because we've gone into the law of diminishing returns, and we'll have lots of detractors saying, well, he just wants us to spend 3 times the money on something that's only marginally better. It depends what you want from your music. Now, it was instantly obviously better in every aspect I could think of when I'm listening to a headphone to evaluate it through the Susvara compared to the Aria. And the Aria is an incredibly good headphone, but the Susvara is one of the best headphones in the world, and perhaps the best planar magnetic headphone in the world. The Susvara had poise where the Aria had a slight roughness. The Aria had a slightly slower bass response and less definition to the bass, so it became, in comparison to the Susvara, slightly grating after a while. There was an element of fatiguing with the Aria compared to the Susvara, which was just doing everything right. There was an airiness with the Susvara. The soundstage was awesomely big, and the Aria was smaller. The sounds that were coming out of the Susvara, even some of the mids, had a viscerality. You could almost feel air hitting your ears on some of the mids, some of the guitar strings. Whereas with the Aria, there wasn't that viscerality other than in the bass response. Not all is bad with the Aria. As I've said, to get the best out of the Susvara, I've used a speaker amp and I've used a specially custom made balanced cable. That balanced cable is not available on the market to my knowledge. you would have to get it custom made for you. And this is a 40-watt amplifier, and it's a really high quality amplifier. The Nova Fidelity X35 costs £1,500. As a reviewer, I get to the stage sometimes where I just want to keep a set of headphones on. I have pretty much come to my conclusions in the first 15 minutes of the listening session, and one headphone is so much better than the other one that I simply just want to wear that one all the time. And rather than A-Bing each track after I've listened to the track with the Aria, but once I'd listened to the Susvara on that track, I'd move on to the next track and probably then accidentally forget to try out the Arias for a few more tracks, and before I know it I've had 20 minutes with the Susvaras on. And even then I think, well, I'll just listen to this last track because it's only 3 minutes long. The Susvara is a night and day difference to the Aria Stealth. It is a night and day difference to the HE6, in my opinion. I know there are some of you out there that will disagree with me on that. And in terms of, for instance, the Sennheiser HD800, you just simply cannot compare the two. Not all is lost with the Aria Stealth. The Aria Stealth does not need specialist equipment like the Susvara needs. But what I would say to you is, don't despair. If you haven't got that much money left and you want to buy a Susvara, you can get yourself a second-hand speaker amp and get yourself a custom cable made up. I don't know how much a custom cable will cost you if you haven't got the technical ability to be able to do it yourself, but it is a big piece of kit and well worth the investment in, because believe you me, the speaker taps are the way to go for the Susvara to get the real power needed to get them singing properly, compared to using the headphone output of the even a speaker amp, an integrated amp, a full-size one that you would use for your normal hi-fi speakers. It would be better to go via the speaker taps, and I've shown you that in previous videos. The Aria Stealth won't need anything like that. It would be quite comfortable with a normal DAC amp. It doesn't even need a desktop DAC amp. It can work perfectly well on digital audio players. It's a superb sound. If all you can afford is the Aria Stealth, don't despair. There is a night and day difference between the Susvara and the Aria Stealth. But if I didn't have the Susvara with me and I went back to listening to the Aria Stealth, within a few days or a few weeks, I'll have soon forgotten about how good the Susvara sounded, and I would settle back naturally to just enjoying the music, which is where we should be. The music should be the most important thing. The headphones are just a means of getting a little bit more out of your music, and the Susvara certainly does that. The Susvara has been around for quite some time now, and I think it's going to be around for some time to come. It started the stealth magnet technology, which has now trickled down to the Aria and even more affordable models below that. The stealth magnet certainly adds some technical abilities to the Aria that it didn't have before, and the bass is stronger and faster. But it does not stand with the Susvara, in my opinion. I hope you've enjoyed this, and I hope you've enjoyed the tracks. If your opinion is different from mine, I more than welcome it. Until the next time, I wish you a good day and happy listening.